All right, on me in three, two, one, go. Well, it's Groundhog Day again, and today, oh, add this up. I'd like to talk about the way of Phil Connors and how the Buddha's Four Noble Truths are illustrated in the movie Groundhog Day. So, if you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend it. I've seen it every year since it came out, at least. Easily one of my top 10 favorite movies. So I highly recommend it. If you haven't seen it, that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. So I'd recommend go ahead and watching it. We'll wait. You know what? Just pause the video or come back to it or whatever. I'm going to go ahead. So, Four Noble Truths. The first noble truth: life sucks. At the beginning of the movie, we see that Phil Connors has a job that he doesn't really like. He works with people that he finds annoying. He's got a crappy assignment, which he's done 3 times already, of going to a podunk little town that's full of even more people that he finds annoying. And he's generally insulting and mean and selfish. So, yeah, according to Phil Connors, life sucks. Noble truth number 2: life doesn't inherently suck. It sucks because we expect it to be a certain way other than the way that it actually is. Because we desire things, because we have likes and dislikes, all these things, what we think are good for us actually is what keeps us in the cycle of suffering. The third noble truth is the logical progression from that. If desire creates suffering, then stop desiring equals stop suffering, which is easy to understand, yet takes 100,000 lifetimes to master. And then the fourth noble truth is the Eightfold Path, which is the 8 aspects of life that you get in order that gets you on the path, on the way. So when we get into the movie and Phil is in Punxsutawney and he wakes up and he finds that it's Groundhog Day again, then, well, first he tries to get out of the town because he doesn't want to be there. But then he tries to see what he can get out of the situation for himself. So, he starts indulging in the sweets. He's smoking. He sabotages the van to try to keep Rita there. He manipulates the lady he meets to get a date with her. Ultimately, is all selfish things. He's trying to see what he can get out of his situation. Then he sees that, all those things were kind of frivolous, I guess to say, surface quality. Maybe he sees in Rita that he could have something a little more substantial. So he manipulates Rita and tries to get her to like him, and which doesn't work out, which is kind of the final thing that he sees that he cannot get. Like all the stuff that he got before didn't satisfy him. It just keeps happening. He still wakes up in the town. He can't get Rita. So this brings him to a depression and where the suicide comes in. So where he starts, instead of thinking about what can he get out of the situation, he's trying to see if he can get out of the situation itself. Again, proving to be to no avail. So after all the selfish desires have been worked through, and he sees that even his selfish desire of ending the self didn't work out, then there's kind of a surrendering or a giving up. You know, he's in the situation and there's nothing he can do about it. So instead of seeing what he can get, what he can get out of, or if he can get out of the situation, there's the flip to where he starts to get into the situation. So there's the scene where he's sitting in the diner and he hears the piano concerto, and he's starting to see the beauty in life. And that inspires him to learn the piano. Kind of like to say a side note about that. Learning the piano is one of those skills, it takes a long time. And it's something that any of us could do if you're so inspired. But it's like, you might think that, sure, I might want to learn piano, but it'll take me 10 years before I'm any good at it. Well, that could play out one of two ways. You learn the piano over the course of 10 years, and then in 10 years, you're able to play the piano. Or you don't learn the piano, and over the course of 10 years, you're still not able to learn the piano. You've still gone those same 10 years, but you don't have any piano skills to show for it. So that's just something to keep in mind. And then, the same thing with the chainsaw ice sculpting. Okay. So he's getting into life, and then he starts to be of service of people. How can he help out? And he's changing the tire. He's saving the kid from falling out of the tree. He's feeding the homeless guy and trying to save him. He's Heimlich maneuvering the mayor. Helping people. How can he be of service? And surprisingly enough, he finds that after all that selfish stuff that he tried to get for himself, that he thought he wanted, after all that didn't work out, then being selfless and helping people has changed his life immeasurably. So much so that the town that he didn't even want to go to, that he tried his best to escape from, by the end of the movie, he doesn't want to leave. And it doesn't have anything to do with the location. This whole theme of the movie, the whole lesson of the movie, I feel like is summed up by Rita near the beginning when Phil is trying to convince her of what's going on. She says, maybe it's not a curse. It just depends on how you look at it. That's it right there. That's the whole lesson. It's all about perspective. There's a poem by Rabindranath Tagore that goes like this. I dreamt, no, excuse me. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service is joy. So, that's when I'm making these videos, it's kind of weird because I'm sitting here all alone in this room by myself, talking to my phone. So it's kind of like, I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know who's watching the video. But in a way, I know that I'm talking to myself because this isn't me trying to give you guidance. This is just guidance, and definitely guidance that I know that I can use myself and I need reminders of, to be a little less selfish, to be more of service, to see where I can help out. So I think we can all use that encouragement. And as Tom Waits would put it, well, I'm gonna leave this place better than the way I found that it was. Jesus gonna be here. He gonna be here soon. And last thing that I'll recommend is that after you've been selfless and have helped everyone that you can help, and you're ready to call it at the end of the day, I recommend having my favorite drink, sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist. Amen.